Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Ngayon po, pag-aralan natin ngayong hapon, Book of Daniel, chapter 6. So bago po natin umpisahan yan, ay pangunahan muna tayo ni Dax ng isa o dalawang kanta. Maganda po mag-worship tayo. Bago ang lahat.
Hello. How are you? Anong song page yun? Anong song ang gusto mo?
Kung ano na lang alam mo.
Yes, Lord. Sing praises to Him.
Thank you po. Please join us sa worship.
Change my heart, oh God. Make it a virtue. Change my heart, oh God. May I be like you. Change my heart, oh God. Make it a virtue. Change my heart, oh God. May I be like you. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me. This is what I pray. Change my heart. Change my heart, oh God. Make it a virtue. Change my heart, oh God. May I be like you. You are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me. This is what I pray. Change my heart, oh God. Make it a virtue. Change my heart, oh God. May I be like you.
Truly, Lord, that's our desire. Change our heart. Lord, baguhin mo ang puso namin na matigas at hindi pumapasok ang iyong salita. Lord, kagaya po ng ginawa mo sa amin, pinalambot mo, pinalitan mo aming puso. Lord, we pray that you change our heart this afternoon, that we'll be able, Lord, to see the beauty of your word. Makita namin, Lord, ang mensahe na ibibigay mo sa amin sa pamamagitan po sa aklat ni Daniel. Isang maganda pong nakatalaga sa Biblia naming basahin. Lalo na po ngayong hapon to, importante po ng chapter 6 na maraming laman ng katuruan. So speak to our hearts, Lord. Lahat po na nanonood, kami po na nandito. May we see, Lord, the lessons from the life of Daniel na ginamit mo na punong-puno ng pananampalataya sa iyo sa gitna ng matinding pagsubok. Siya po ay nagwagi dahil ikaw ay nasa Kanya. In your presence, Lord, there is victory. There is triumph over the works of the enemy. So this afternoon, Lord, speak to us. Speak to us in the most wonderful way to each and every one of us. Lalo si Ronel po na mangunguna ng discussion at lahat po kami na magpapalitan po ng insight ng aming pong revelation na natanggap sa iyo mula sa aklat na ito. Tulungan mo kami, Lord. Basbasanin mo rin po ang mga nanonood, naka-tune in ngayon, na malaman namin ang mga katuruan sa aklat na ito. Tulungan mo kami ngayon, Lord, sa pangalan ni Jesus, ito po ang aming panalangin. Amen and amen. Thank you. So, umpisahan po natin yung Book of Daniel, the first few chapters. At ngayon po, i-conclude natin kasi itong pinaka-highlight sa buhay ni Daniel, yung chapter 6. Kilala natin lahat na kung saan niya natikman ni Daniel yung matinding pagsubok dahil siya ay hindi nag-compromise. At dahil sa matinding pananampalataya ni Daniel, siya ay nakatikim na isang magandang presensya ng Panginoon doon sa parusang ibinigay sa kanya simply because gusto lamang niya sumunod sa salita ng Panginoon, sa sinasabi ng Diyos. Isa lamang ang gusto niyang i-please ang Diyos. Kaya ngayong hapon, namnamin natin, himayin natin ang sinasabi ng chapter 6 na lahat po tayo ay merong makukuhang lesson ngayong hapon na ito. Okay, so feel free to mag-ask po kayo ng question, leave your comments, and we'll try to include your question po sa aming discussion. Thank you, and let's give the floor to Ronel.
All right. Thank you, Pastor, for the prayer and introduction. Dax, for leading the worship. Magandang gabi po sa lahat na nandito ngayon. Live po kami ngayon kay Kuya Jun and Ate Alma's residence. Sa mga nanonood po online, welcome po sa ating Bible study. And like what Pastor said, if you have questions or meron din po kayo may share, please just type in your comments. And please have your Bibles with you. Get your Bibles now kasi mahaba. May kahabaan po yung chapter 6. Alright. So Daniel chapter 6 po tayo. So like I said a few months ago, ang book of Daniel is divided into two parts. Yung chapters 1 to 6, it speaks about Daniel's life sa kaharian ng mga pagano. Dito sumasalamin yung kanyang way of living under captivity ng mga Babylons tsaka ng mga Medo-Persians. And yung other half, Daniel 7 to 12, is about his vision. Yung kanyang mga revelation ng Panginoon sa kanya. And some of those are not yet, hindi pa po nangyayari. So, because to stay true sa ating agenda, sa ating life lessons, sa Bible study, hindi na natin itatackle pa yung 7 to 12. But it's still an interesting read sa future. And now, to conclude the book of Daniel, we will read Daniel in the Den of Lions. And I think Daniel in the Den of Lions is one of the most popular Bible stories. Even sa children's Bible books, laging nababanggit si Daniel sa Den of Lions. But ano ba talaga yung nangyari? And how did it lead to that situation na siya'y nandoon sa Den of Lions? It is, nung hindi ko pa siya nababasa, I thought it's just a straightforward story. But if you read it verse by verse, marami po tayong malalaman, marami po tayong mapupulot na aral. So, let's start na po. I will be reading from NIV, from verse 1. It pleased Darius to appoint 120 satraps to rule throughout the kingdom, with 3 administrators over them, one of whom was Daniel. So, si Darius siya na po ang hari ng mga Medo-Persians. Sila natalo na po na nila ang mga Babylonians at this time. So, sa lifetime ni Daniel, sa kaharian na yon, napasailalim siya sa 2 kaharian, Babylons and now Medo-Persia. But, or leaders sa isang lugar. And si Daniel was able to make a great career in a foreign land. 80 years old na po si Daniel at this point, but still, he is still serving a foreign kingdom. He was able to make a name for himself. He was able to be promoted despite having a different belief, despite still being faithful to God. He was able to compartmentalize, if there's such a word, yung kanyang spiritual life at yung kanyang career. He was so excellent na 80 years old na siya at this point and still holding a high place sa isang banyagang lugar, kingdom. So continue po sa verse 3. Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the others that the king has already have plans for him. Matanda na siya, pero sa perspective ng kaharian, hindi pa tapos, hindi pa siya pinagre-retire. So, makikita natin yung kanyang talagang excellence. Simula pa nung unang araw na siya'y dinala sa Babylon, up to now, he was still consistent with that excellence. Something na pwede nating mapulot. We can excel at work without compromising our belief in God. Yes, nasa foreign land siya. Nandyan ang lahat ng influence nasa paligid niya. But he was still able to remain faithful sa ating God. While at the same time, like I said a while ago, napagsisilbihan niya yung hari. It's not the other way around. It's not the job that's influencing him towards his faith. It was his faith that is manifested, that manifests in his works sa kanyang ginagawa sa araw-araw. And verse 5, finally this man said, we will never find any basis for charges against this man, Daniel, unless it has something to do with the law of his God. And now, bakit mahalaga itong verse 5? Dito natin makikita na hindi nila mahanapan ng butas si Daniel. That's why they will attack his faith. Because they all know, everybody knows, that when it comes to his belief, when it comes to God, he will never compromise. And now, Because yung kanilang faith, yung kanilang relihiyon ay iba-iba. Now, they now, nahanap na nila yung something na pwede, they can isolate Daniel. Pwede na nila siyang pagtulungan sa aspeto na yon, sa aspeto ng paniniwala. So in verse 6, so these administrators and satraps went as a group to the king and said, "May King Darius live forever." That's a salutation. Verse 7, the royal administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors have all agreed that the king should issue an edict and enforce decree that anyone who prays to any god or human being during the next 30 days, except to you, your majesty, shall be thrown into the lion's den. Now, at this point, makikita po natin yung inggit ng mga kasamahan ni Daniel sa kanya, which is very relatable pa rin, no? Sa ating present time. Laging nandyan ang selos, laging nandyan ang inggit. And it's just, I believe it's human nature talaga to plot against a person who is above them. And if you find yourself among this group, I think it's about time that we change our ways, we change our perspective, and not let inggit, not let jealousy lead us to sin. And if you find yourself naman on the other side, that you are being sinisiraan ka, you are being led into a bad situation dahil sa mga tao na iinggit sa'yo. What you should do, just be Daniel. Just stick to what you believe. Just stick to what is right. Just stick to what God is telling us on how to deal with this kind of situation. Ngayon, 30 days, humihingi sila ng 30 days allowing or inutusan ang lahat ng nasasakupan na huwag magdasal sa kanilang Diyos maliban na lamang sa hari for 30 days. These satraps, these prefects knows that 30 days is more than enough to put Daniel into trouble. They could even ask the king for a day, and they can get Daniel in trouble still. But just to make sure, they made it 30 days. Because they know, one way or another, Daniel will never compromise, even just for a day. Verse 8, "Now, your majesty, issue the decree and put it in writing so that it cannot be altered, in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed." So ayan, pinilit na nila yung hari. So in verse 9, so King Darius put the decree in writing. Verse 10, now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Just as he had done before. Daniel knowing na naipasa na itong decree, wala siyang binago, hindi siya na-intimidate, hindi siya na-threatened. He still prayed in a way that he used to pray. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God. And looking back, tinuloy niya pa rin yung kanyang panalangin. And you can see, hindi siya nagdasal sa public place. Hindi siya nagdadasal sa lugar na makikita siya ng ibang tao. Hindi siya, he never taunted, no? Yung mga satraps. He never taunted the king. Hindi siya nag-play victim. Hindi siya nagpadala sa threat na ito, sa decree na ito, sa threat of getting killed. He just went on with his life. He just went on with his prayer life. Walang malis, walang intention to show off, walang intention to rebel, walang intention to put resistance sa decree that was put against him. Just as he had done before. Verse 11. Then these men went as a group and found Daniel praying and asking God for help. So verse 12, so they went to the king and spoke to him about his royal decree. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except to you, your majesty, will be thrown into the lion's den? The king answered, the decree stands in accordance with the law of the Medes and Persians, which cannot be repealed. Verse 13. Then they said to the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you, your majesty, or to the decree you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day. Stop muna tayo dito. So, verse 13, sinabi nila, Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you. People who are jealous, people who are have something, kung meron man silang ill intent sa'yo, they will always bring up something that is yung bang ikasisira mo, yung bang something na negative sa iyo, yung something na may masasabi ang tao sa iyo. Look, si Daniel nagsisilbi na siya sa kahariang ito since teenage years. So dapat nakakalimutan na nila 'yon. You wouldn't consider Daniel to be an exile anymore. So bakit kailangan pang i-bring up to? Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, that was 7 decades ago. Why do you have to bring this now? And I believe na-experience natin to, that people will fling, yung sinasabi natin, mudslings, they will i-bring up nila yung past mo. Should you retaliate? Should you be angry? So how do we react to these kinds of things? Slanders. We'll go ahead. Tingnan natin ang gagawin ni Daniel. Verse 14. When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. He was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. So, he was greatly distressed because of 2 things. Makikita natin. One, na-realize niya na naisahan siya ng kanyang mga satraps, ng kanyang mga pinamumunuan. And because iba ang batas ng Medo-Persians sa Babylon, wala siyang magagawa. Hindi kagaya ni King Nebuchadnezzar sa Kingdom of Babylon. Ang utos ng hari hindi mababali. Merong kasabihan na gano'n. The Babylonian kings can make a decree and sabihin natin cancel the decree any time of the day. Meanwhile, ito naman yung kaibahan sa Medo-Persia. Pagka naging decree na, kahit ang hari, hindi niya kayang i-undo yung decree na yon. That is one of the differences between two kingdoms. That's why itong si Haring Darius was deeply depressed. Na-distress siya. Pangalawa, na-distress siya because he holds Daniel in a very high regard. It's like yung sarili niyang naisahan siya, that will lead to Daniel's demise. And he was greatly distressed. And he was determined to rescue Daniel and made every effort until sundown to save him. Pero wala na po siyang magagawa. The decree has been made at kahit hari siya, hindi niya kayang baliin ang decree na yun. Verse 15. Then the men went as a group to King Darius and said to him, "Remember, Your Majesty, that according to the law of the Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king issues can be changed." Verse 16. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." See, dito naman sa verse 16, makikita natin yung kanyang hari, si Haring Darius, though he doesn't believe in Daniel's God, he doesn't believe in our God, meron siyang belief that our God will rescue Daniel. This is one of the effects. This is one of the fruits of effective witnessing. Although sa ating makikita natin yan sa ating family, makikita natin yan sa ating mga workmates, makikita natin yan sa ating mga friends. Though hindi natin sila nahahatak sa Bible study, hindi natin sila nahahatak sa online service, sa Sunday service. Mahalaga po sa ating mga kapatid ang witnessing sa ating ginagawa sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. Sa ating pong sinasabi, sa ating pong the way of living, our ways of living. Because it makes people see God in us. And here, you can see Darius believes that God will rescue Daniel because he has seen Daniel from the get-go. Simula pa nung unang nasakop ang Babylonian Empire, nakita na ni King Darius kung paano magsilbi si Daniel sa kanyang Panginoon. At nagmamanifest ang ganitong klaseng paniniwala sa lahat ng ginagawa ni Daniel. Most importantly, sa kanyang trabahong administrative sa kaharian. So something po that we can strive to practice every day sa ating trabaho. I know it's hard, but it's one of the, one of the things that we can do as Christians. Remember, the Bible never said that Daniel is sinless, but he was faultless. And this is the kind of holiness that we should strive as well. I believe na pag-aralan na natin yung holiness during our past Bible studies. And mahalaga pong na balikan po natin yon for us to make clarifications on how to be holy. Not sinless, that's impossible, but holy. So that Daniel's situation might not be changed. Verse 18. Then the king returned to his palace and spent the night without eating and without any entertainment being brought to him. And he could not sleep. Goes to show kung gaano kalapit si Daniel kay King Darius. Verse 19. At the first light of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice. Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually, inulit niya, been able to rescue you from the lions? So kahit may guilt, may guilt sa feelings ni King Darius, although physically it will be impossible to assume that Daniel is still alive. Sa puso ni Haring Darius, there is still hope. There is still a possibility, a possibility that Daniel is still alive at this point. Yes, there is anguish. Yes, there is guilt sa pakiramdam ng hari at this point that he spent the night without eating, spent the night without entertainment. Although this one, yun yung nag-grip sa kanya at that point in time, there's still a flicker of hope sa isang paganong hari na si Daniel ay ligtas at buhay dahil sa ating Diyos. Isn't it amazing po na kung sino pa yung iba yung paniniwala, a pagan king, that our God is living, that our God is faithful, that our God will save us even sa mga impossible situations, even at the point of death. God will rescue us. Verse 21. Daniel answered, "May the king live forever." Another salutation. Salutation na po yun. Verse 22. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done anything wrong before you, your majesty. So, taliwas po sa mga nababasa natin, nakikita natin sa mga pictures, yung mga lion is maamo, yung mga lion is nagwa-walk around beside him. I think that's just a little bit of exaggeration. It was the angel who shut the mouths of these lions, because these lions are hungry. These lions are savages, because pag nilagay mo yung lion na busog na sa den na yon, sa lugar na yon, it defeats the purpose of that being an execution chamber. So it was the angel, it was God who intervened for Daniel. Verse 23. The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Daniel out of the den. And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. So, there are times na we find ourselves in the lion's den. All we have to do po is trust in God. All we have to do po is surrender everything to Him. All we have to do is place our lives sa Kanya. And one thing we can also learn from this is, napunta siya sa lion's den, meron na siyang prayer life. You shouldn't make your prayer life inside the lion's den, for that will be very too late na po.
It's good.
A prayer life is something that we make even before we find ourselves in the lion's den. It is something that we should continually do at this stage in our lives, regardless of our situation at this moment. So that when we find ourselves in a very difficult situation such as this, brought in and thrown into the lion's den. Una is, as a king, he cannot afford to have these leaders who are scheming. He can't have these leaders who have bad intentions among their colleagues. So now parang pinaplak po as a leader, pinaplak niya yung mga masasamang damo sa kanyang taniman. Hindi niya, he will never tolerate this kind of scheming again in his kingdom. Something we can learn from this king, ano po?
Yeah.
Medyo extreme nga lang because pati wives and children po is nadamay. So we have to be careful na rin po, no, as how we live this life, how we conduct ourselves, ano po, because yung ating pong mga action is may consequence po, and we wouldn't want our loved ones na madamay po or bear the suffering, bear the consequences of our ill intentions.
No.
Verse 25. Then King Darius wrote to all the nations and peoples of every language in all the earth. May you prosper greatly. I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. And that ends po. Pagan king. Kung gaano po kabuhay ang ating Panginoon, kung gaano po siya kabuti, medyo sumablay lang po siya dahil nag-issue pa siya ng decree that people must fear and revere the God of Daniel. You cannot issue a decree. Hindi mo pwedeng ang belief, ang faith, ang obedience sa Panginoon ay hindi po isinasa batas. Ito po'y dapat ay kusang ginagawa na wala nakalagay na Yun din po, Pastor, ang tanong ko.
Yeah.
Yung bang yung bang mga proclamation dito ng hari is enough evidence to say that he is believer din po?
It could be yes, could be no. Kasi maraming ang taong nagkakaroon ng positive reaction on something after a miracle. Di ba, kamukha ng mga milagro ni Jesus Christ, maraming namangha, pumalakpak sa Kanya. Dahil nakita na ang mga bulag ay nakakita, ang mga pilay ay nakalakad, so pinupuri nila si Jesus Christ. One of the kahinaan nga ng tao, pagka may milagro, talagang nagugulat sila. Gumaganda ang sinasabi nila, nagiging positive. It could be, kasi nga wala na tayong na anong, dito, according to chapter 6, yung declaration niya ay namangha siya, kaya binigyan niya ng papuri ang Diyos ni Daniel. Kamukha rin ni Nebuchadnezzar. Na-impress din si Nebuchadnezzar pagkatapos naman, hindi rin siya na bago. Yun ang ano natin. Kailangan na tayong maniwala sa Diyos. Huwag tayong ma-impress sa Kanya. Maniwala lamang tayo sa Kanya dahil sa mga milagro. Dapat maniwala tayo sa Kanya sa mga sinabi niya na totoo. Okay. Maraming maganda yung exhortation ni Ronel. Napakaraming lessons. Sana natandaan niyo lahat yung binigay niya mga life applications, lessons na yun ang maganda po. Pag pinapag-aralan natin ng Bible, hindi lamang yung kinukuha natin ng information, yung nangyari, kung hindi paano i-apply natin sa buhay. And Ronel did that very well. Yun din ang natin. Ang pagsasaliksik kasi ng Bible, dapat malaman natin, okay, sinabi ito ng Diyos, pero ano naman ang kabutihang maidudulot sa akin ito? O paano ko ito ipapamuhay? Kailangan, it will not remain an information, it will be a revelation na sa pamamagitan ng pinahayag ng salita ng Diyos ay makita natin kung paano kikilos ang Panginoon. So ito pong istoryang to, sana nakita niyo po yung summary ni Ronel na napakaganda po. So ang tanong ko po, kung wala kayong tanong, sige tanongin natin, bakit na in trouble si Daniel? Bakit siya napahamak bakit na inis ang mga co-employee niya, yung mga government workers na kasama niya? Okay? Kung sinundan niyo po yung istorya, kung nabasa niyo ito, dapat makuha natin, di ba, na nagalit sila kay Daniel simply dahil merong na nakarating sa kanila na ipopromote siya. Ipopromote si Daniel. So, marami sa buhay ng tao na pagka pumasok talaga ang inggit, madali kang makaisip ng paraan para siraan yung taong ipopromote. Kasi nga, nalaman nila yung si Darius ay ipopromote pa si Daniel. So, anong nakita nating another application sa mga bagay nito bukod dun sa mga sinabi ni Ronela, napakarami. Tayo po ay mai-in-trouble kahit gumagawa tayo ng mabuti. Even though we're planning to do good, God would allow sometimes difficulties or problem na pumasok sa buhay natin. Wala namang kasalanan si Daniel Pero bakit kailangan pagdaanan niya yung parusang yun na itapon siya sa kulungan ng mga leon? Okay? God would allow that because para makita natin ang mas malaki niyang kaluwalhatian. Para makita natin na kung paano kumilos ang Diyos na kahit sa gitna ng mga mababangis na leon, ay nailigtas niya ang isang taong sumusunod sa Kanya. Pinabayaan niyang makatikim ng hirap si Daniel, pero ano ang kahuli-hulihan? Iniligtas din niya. He saved Daniel from the ultimate death and destruction. So if we obey God, God would allow difficulties, problems, trials, and tests, but at the end, it's God who would rescue us. Not all the time, pero nakita natin, marami tayong nabasa sa Biblia na kumikilos ang Diyos pagka ang mga matuwid sa harap niya ay sumusunod sa Kanya at hindi nagko-compromise. Okay, so hindi siya nag-compromise. Yun nga, pagka inggit talaga, ang inggit po ay sa opisina, sa eskwelahan, maging sa church, nangyayari yan. Nagkakaroon ng hindi magandang pagsasabi, lies, mga innuendos, mga make-up stories, ay ginagawa yan sa mga taong ipinopromote. So maganda i-highlight ni Ronel dito. Kasi nga, so gusto nilang siraan si Daniel. So naghahanap sila ng butas para siraan siya. Sabi nila, wala kami makitang ano sa kanya na butas para masiraan, sabi ng mga kasama niya, yung mga kalaban ni Daniel. They could not find no corruption in him because he was trustworthy, neither corrupt nor negligent. Finally, this man, we will never find any basis for charges against Daniel unless it has something to do with the law of God. Ito po ang maganda kay Daniel. Naghanap na sila ng mga butas, ng mga pintas kay Daniel para masiraan siya. Yun ang maganda po kung namumuhay tayo ng matuwid. Walang makikita dapat ang kaaway sa atin na pwedeng gamitin laban sa atin. So probably kung naisip nila, hindi natin pwedeng siraan si Daniel dahil siya'y sugarol, siya'y lasenggo, siya'y babaero, siya'y corrupt, siya'y sinungaling. Wala silang makita noon. And if that's the case with Daniel, how truthful we can be in that situation. Walang masamang bisyo, walang masamang impluensya, walang masamang barkada, walang masamang ginawa na makikita sa atin. Kaya nga wala silang makitang butas sa kanya. Ngayon, ang naisip nila, hanapan natin ang butas si Daniel kung saan siya okupado, kung saan siya busy, kung saan siya nakafocus. Naisip nila, nakafocus ito sa Diyos. Ang gusto nito ay dasal. Gusto nito ay kausap ang Diyos. Kaya doon sila nag-concentrate. So makikita niyo po, kahit ang mga galit sa atin, mga kaaway natin, nakikita nila yung ginagawa natin, ang relasyon natin sa Diyos. Ang ginagawa natin sa Diyos. Maaring gamitin nila yon. So be it. Pero totoo naman yung ginagawa natin. Mainam naman yung ginagawa natin. Kaya doon sila naghanap ng butas. Hanapan natin ng butas si Daniel tungkol doon sa relasyon niya sa Diyos at yung ginagawa niya sa Diyos. Diba? Sabi doon sa verse 5. Unless it has something to do with the law of God. Ngayon sa buhay natin, ano ngayon ang natin? Maaring ang mga tao ay humanap ng kapintasan sa iyo dahil madalas dala mo ang Biblia. Pwede nilang alipustahin ka, pwede ka nilang biruin. Ang taong yan, lagi may dalang Bible, pero hindi natin alam, baka hindi naman niya binabasa yan. Lagi siya may dalang gitara. Maaring nagpupuri siya sa Diyos, pero gusto lang niya ay tumanyag. Maaring, ito pala dasal ito sa Diyos pero baka ito ay nagkukunwari lang naman. Ito ay tumatawag sa Diyos. Sa t-shirt niya, meron siyang Christian, meron siyang born again. Maaaring yon ay hipokrito lamang. Pwedeng gamitin yun ng kaaway, pwedeng hanapin yun ng kaaway na butas para sa atin. Pero hanggat totoo ang ating pagdadala ng Biblia, pagkanta na may gitara, patotoo na ang nakasulat sa ating mga t-shirt ay tama at talagang ipinamumuhay natin, hindi tayo mapapahamak, bagamat magkakaroon ng problema konti, pero ang Diyos ang magliligtas sa atin. Now, another interesting po na part dito ay si King Darius. Kaibigan na niya si Darius, impressed na siya kay Daniel Gusto na nga niyang i-promote. Pero bakit siya na-sway? Bakit siya nadala ng mga tao na binuyo na gumawa ng decree? Nandoon po kasi yun sa doon sa mga bola ng tao. Ang sabi sa kanya, O King Darius, mag-issue ka ng decree na walang magdadasal for 30 days. Okay? So, maaaring kay Darius ay hindi approve sa kanya. Pero ang maaari sa tingin ko, ang naging nakaakit sa kanya na gawin ito ay yung sinabing wala pong dapat magdadasal except to you, Your Majesty, the King. Sabi niya, utusan mo lahat ng nasa kaharian nito na walang magdadasal. Puwera lamang kung magdadasal sila sa iyo. Yan. So makita mo, pagka pumasok ang self-edification, pagka nakiliti ka, magiging maganda ang pangalan mo, magiging maganda ang kinalalagyan mo, matatanyag ka. Sino ba naman ang ayaw, lalo na yung mga makamundong tao na ang mga tao ay nagdadasal, sa'yo nagdadasal. That probably, I think, what forced King Darius to say yes. Na kahit kaibigan niya, si Daniel ay nag-utos siya ng walang magdadasal. Pumayag siya. Diba? Nag-issue kagad siya ng decree. I think he was flattered. Naging na-attract siya dun sa attention. Biro mo walang magdadasal, sa akin lang magdadasal lahat. I-issue ko tong decree na to. Ha? Na pinapagdasal. Hindi naman. Hindi, mataas ang nila, pero hindi pinagdadasalan o sa kanila in a pagan relationship, no, mataas ang tingin nila talaga doon sa mga hari. Kaya pag pumasok po talaga ang self-satisfaction, self-promotion, ego, maaring bumalaktot ang tao. Kaya delikado po na yun. Dangerous talaga na yun ang gamitin ng kaaway para tayo ay bumaliktad. Ang credit, ang glory ay napunta sa atin, ay naiinganyo tayo, na-attract tayo. Kaya pumayag siya. Ngayon, interesting po. Interesting noong nagpunta sila doon, kasi ang ganda nga nito talagang namnamin eh. So, nagpunta yung lahat ng kasama ni Daniel. Hindi siya kasama. Pumunta sila doon sa king. Ang sabi nila, verse 6, so those administrators and satraps went as a group. Sama-sama sila as a group to the king and said, my king Darius live forever. Ito ang kasinungalingan, verse 7. The royal administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors have all agreed. Sabi nila, lahat kami ay nagkaisa. That's a lie. Kasi hindi naman nag-agree si Daniel eh. So people can be swayed by the lies of the majority. Pagka majority na nagsinungaling at nagsama-sama, delikado. Dahil maraming maniniwala. Kasi nagpunta sila as a group. Hindi kasama si Daniel. So people can fabricate stories against you, na magsama-sama sila. Tsaka ito nakaka-interesting, di ba, Dax? Hindi mo napansin to. Yung mga masasamang tao, ito lang hindi nabanggit lang pangalan. Pwede silang ano ba tinatawag doon? Yung pag nagkaroon sila ng one enemy, they can have one enemy and they can band together against one enemy. Meron silang kasi pare-pareho silang nainggit lamang kay Daniel kaya nagsama-sama sila pero hindi naman talaga sila magkakampi. Di ba ganun ang politics? Kung meron ka inis, tapos pare-pareho kayong inis, magsasama-sama kayo against that person. Di ba? Ito po ang nangyari. Kaya nagpunta sila doon, sabi, gusto po namin lahat na mag-issue kayo ng decree. Ngayon, nakakataka, bakit hindi ihanap ni King Darius? Bakit hindi niya ihanap si Daniel? Where is Daniel? Again, pumasok yan dahil nakiliti na siya doon sa atraksyong yung proposal na binigay. Dahil siya ay mapopromote, siya ay dadasalan, siya ay magiging famous. Nakakalimutan na niya ang kaibigan niya, ang ano niya, ang dapat niyang ipagtanggol. So, delikado po talaga yung nakalite ang ego. Okay? So, nanalo sila. Nakita niyo po, nanalo ang kasinungalingan. Nanalo. Sa kasinungalingan na nasway nila ang hari. Okay? Ngayon po, nung nalaman ni Daniel, nando sa verse 10, kaya malalaman natin na hindi siya kasama nung pumunta sila sa hari. Sabi, now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, o nadinig niya, o nabasa niya, ano ang ginawa niya? Nagprotesta ba siya? Tumawag ba siya mag-rally tayo, mag-people's power tayo, pumunta tayo sa hari? O pumunta ba siya sa hari? Didepensa ko ang hari. Sabihin ko, hindi ito totoo. Kakausapin ko yung lahat ng nagsinungaling sa akin. Sasabihin ko sa kanila na mali yung ginawa nyo. Iisa-isahin ko silang puntahan at ipapamukha ko sa kanila ang kasamaan nilang ginawa. Kakausapin ko ang hari. Ipagtatanggol ko ang sarili ko. None of those things ay ginawa niya. Hindi siya umalma. Hindi siya nagalit. Hindi siya nagplano ng revenge. Hindi siya wala siyang ginawang iba. Ano pong ginawa niya? He went home to pray. Di ba ilang sabi? He went home to his upstairs room where the windows were open and he prayed. How many of us can have the same reaction? Maraming chismis na natanggap tayo, maraming kasinungalingang natanggap tayo, maraming nagsabing mali kaysa sa atin. Tatawag ba tayo? Kakausapin na yung tao? Haharapin natin ko? Kumprontahin natin sila? Or we just simply go on our knees and pray. This is a beautiful example kay Daniel na lahat tayo ay pwede nating gayahin. Kung tayo na-persecute kahit sinungaling, kasinungalang hindi totoo ang sinabi sa atin, be just on our knees and pray. Ganun ang ginawa ni Daniel. Wala na hindi sinabing nagalit, nagtampo, sumama ang loob sa hari, nagalit dun sa mga kasama niya na siya itinaydor. Wala. He just went home and prayed. And this is interesting. Ang ano lang naman, di ba, ang proposal, no one will pray for 30 days. 30 days lang. Ang sabi, walang magdadasal ng 30 days. Now, if you were Daniel, pwede mo sabihin, okay na, para hindi naman ako ma-in trouble, 30 days. Ito pwede niyang gawin. 1, sige, hindi na ako magdadasal ng 30 days. But 30 days for Daniel is too long not to pray. What about you? What about us? 6 months na tayong walang prayer life. 2 taon na tayong hindi nagdarasal ng tunay. 5 taon nang hindi tumatawag sa Panginoon. Ito nga po, 30 days hindi na siya mapakali. Hindi siya pumayag, hindi siya nag-compromise. Number 1 po. So there's no compromise. Pwedeng manahimik muna siya for 30 days. Okay? Or, kasi ang ginagawa niya, nagpe-pray siya na nakabukas ang bintana. Pwede siyang mag-pray ng silently or in private. Pero yun ang nakagawian niya eh. Na araw-araw nagdadasal siya, nakabukas ang bintana, maaaring because nakaharap siya doon sa may Jerusalem, sa bundok, o kung saan man para nakikita niya. Hindi siya nagdadasal para makita ng tao o para maging pagyabang niya na siya ay hipokritong nagdarasal pagbukas ng bintana pero pag hindi na ay hindi na siya nagdadasal. So, kaya nga sabi dito, yun ang kaugalian na niya. Just as he had done before. He went home to pray just as he had done before. Now the question, hindi ka magdadasal, hindi ka ma-attract na gawin ang ginagawa mo kung hindi mo talaga ginagawa. Kung yun ang nakagawian mo na, kung yun ang lifestyle mo na, just as you have done it before, then you will do it. So if you want to pray, pray na meron ka talagang regular posture, regular time, regular place na pinapagdasalan mo. Kahit anong pagsubok ang dumating, magdadasal ka. Kasi maganda yung pinoint out nga ni Ronel. Si Daniel, hindi natutong magdasal nung nasa leon na lang siya, kundi talaga nagdadasal na siya kahit wala pang trouble, wala pa yung mga leon. How true is that kung i-apply natin sa buhay natin yan? Let's have a posture. Siya ay nakaluhod. Siya ay nakatingin sa kung saan man siya nakatingin sa bundok, sa Jerusalem. Siya ay nakaluhod. So let's have a posture, a time, and a place to pray. And you will do it. You will do it. You will do it in times of trouble. And maganda ngayon, sinabi rin ni Ronel, he was 80 years old. 80 years old. Lumuluhod pa. Samantalang tayo, 40 years old, 50 years old, even 20 years old. Mga bata sa atin, we cannot even pray on our knees because mahirap, masakit sa tuhod, nakakapagod. But this guy, around 80 years old na nga siya, lumuluhod pa siya. At, yun nga, what would happen if, kung sinabi dito sa halimbawa sa Australia na wala nang pwedeng magkaroon ng public worship. Walang magwo-worship na. Are we gonna stop? This is a challenge for us na maaaring hindi nating masagot. So are we going to go underground? Are we going to go private? Wala na tayong church with no walls. Patago na lang tayo mag-worship. Halimbawa, magkaroon ng ganong decree. This could be a challenging preposition according to the story that it could happen to us. Now, are we ready to obey God? Ito po ang stand ng Kristiyano. Dapat, ito ang pinakita ni Daniel. Kung may conflict ang inutos ng tao at ang inutos ng Diyos, sino ang susundin mo? Kung may conflict, ang utos ng Diyos lagi. Kung magkasalungat ang inutos ng batas ng tao at ang sinabi ng Diyos, pinili ni Daniel ang sinabi ng Diyos. Di ba? Sabi ng Diyos, magdasal ka. Nabasa ni Daniel siguro yun. Nalaman ni Daniel at saka lifestyle na yan. Are we ready to do that? In case there's a conflict between our faith and what the government is telling us. So, another challenging proposition based on this story. Another aspect po na nakakatuwa talaga dito ay yung hari ngayon na nasa palasyo, hindi siya makakain kasi nga pumasok na yung guilt sa kanya. Nagoyo ako nito mga taong to. Talaga palang akala niya kasi pwede siya mag-issue ng decree at masasave niya si Daniel. Inano siya, talagang pinuwersya siya ng mga tao. Kailangan po, sundin nyo yung decree inutos nyo. Pero itong si Daniel po, alam namin, nakikita namin. So, minamatyagan nila. Sabi niya, nakita nilang si Daniel ay nagdadasal ng 3 times a day. So, ano pong sinasabi sa atin ito? The enemy can watch you. The enemy can analyze you. The enemy can investigate what you're doing. And that's what happened to Daniel. Minatyagan siya, in-stake out siya, binantayan siya. Siguro nagpadala ng mga spies para makita kung nagdadasal siya o hindi. Na-prove nila. Sabi nila dun sa hari, he was still praying 3 times a day. When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. Una, nagkaroon siya ng wrong wrong expectation kay Daniel. Akala niya, pag nag-issue siya ng decree, si Daniel ay tatahimik muna, si Daniel ay hindi muna magdadasal. Ini-expect niya, Daniel would compromise. Kaya, in-issue niya yung decree, but he was wrong. Nalaman niya, kaya siya naging, sabi dito, he was greatly distressed. Nalaman niya na si Daniel ay hindi nag-compromise, hindi sununod ang kanyang decree. Ibig sabihin, mapipilitan siyang i-apply ang parusa kay Daniel. That is what compromise can do sa atin. Maaaring dumali ang buhay natin. We'll have an easy life. Di ba? Ang gawin lang natin, mag-compromise tayo para wag ka mapintasan. Pag nagiinuman sa opisina, sige, makiinom ka na rin. Pag nagkakaroon ng mga masamang bisyo, masamang yayaan ng barkada, sige, para hindi ka mapintasan, mag-compromise ka na. Sumama ka na para hindi ka mapintasan. And Christians should not compromise even to the point of being punished, being in trouble, or even in the face of death. Ito po ang maganda. After nun, si King Darius, ang sabi, nagkaroon na siya ng guilt. Ang sabi ngayon, di ba? Yung binasa ni Ronel kanina, in-explain niya kanina, the king returned to his palace, spent the night without eating, hindi siya makakain, without entertainment. Tapos ito, he could not sleep. The king could not sleep in the most luxurious, the most comfortable place. Siguro ang ganda ng kama niya, ang ganda ng palasyo niya, ang laki ng kwarto niya, he could not sleep. And where was Daniel? Nasaan si Daniel? Nasa lions den. Pero hindi sinabing ito. Daniel was probably very comfortable the whole night in the lion's den in a cave sa gitna ng mga mababangis na leon. Okay? So, nakita nyo ang isang taong unbeliever sa gitna ng luxury, grandeur ng palace, hindi makatulog, ang isang anak ng Diyos, nasa kuweba, nasa bato, maaring sa bato lamang siya nakahiga, malamig, nandun ang mga leon, hindi siya natakot. Okay? Maaring yung gabing yun ay isang gabi na naramdaman niya ang kapayapaan. Okay? So, sabi din, nabasa natin sa Biblia, ang tulog po ng mga taong matuwid ay mahimbing. God will grant sleep, peace to the people who trust Him, people who put their faith on Him. So yun po ang mga nakita kong mga lesson na ma-apply natin sa buhay natin na dito sa Book of Daniel, kung babasahin niyo po, nakatas na ni Ronel. Tapos ito, meron pa tayong na nakikitang katuruan. And I'm sure po, if you would read this again, read this over and over again, marami pang i-reveal sa inyo ang Panginoon na magiging lesson na ma-apply nyo sa buhay nyo, maipapangaral at maituturo natin. Chapter 6, Daniel, one chapter, it's a lifetime lesson na ma-apply natin sa buhay natin. Kaya nga, nag-issue yung si King Darius, whether na-convert siya o hindi, siya mismo ang nagpuri na sa Panginoon. One of the best praise to God na recorded sa Bible ay sinabi ng isang paganong hari. Itong sinabi niya in verse 26, di ba? How can the king, an unbeliever, issued this praise? Ang sabi niya, for He is a living God. He endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. How beautiful the praise from the mouth of an unbeliever. Bakit po nagkaganon si King Darius? Because one person refused to compromise. Maaring na-convert siya o maaring nagkaroon na siya ng seed sa kanya para sabihin yon. Imagine po kung nag-compromise si Daniel. Kung nagtago si Daniel, hindi siya nagdasal, then King Darius would not have issued this praise na ngayon ay recorded sa Bible na nababasa natin paulit-ulit. Kaya po, anong katuruan natin? Do not compromise, even up to the point of death. even up to the point of mai-in trouble na tayong lahat. Sa lahat-lahat ay mangyayari sa ating buhay. I hope po, nagkaroon po kayo ng magandang katuruan, lesson sa gabing ito tungkol sa Book of Daniel. Ganyan po natin talaga, dapat hinihimay ang Biblia verse by verse, namnamin natin, hanapin natin, maaaring hindi sinabi dyan, pero makukuha natin ang insight, revelation that may not be clearly stated in word, but it can be revealed to us as we dwell deeply into the Word of God. So, kung ililista po natin, anong pwede nating apply sa buhay natin, sa sinabi natin ngayong gabi, ang dami po. Ang dami po. So, I hope everyone po will remember our lessons tonight, apply into your life, your prayer life, and no compromise. Ano ba mga question? Meron po kayong question? I think you can interact. Meron ko ang question. At Alma, meron ka question sa natin? May idadagdag ka?
Hindi na, marunong na po. Kasi kanina out of curiosity mag-pray. Yung habit niya ng prayer. Ba't kailangan pa siya magbukas ng pintahan?
Meron po kung gusto ko sagutin niya na yan.
Sige.
Kasi I think he's referring to Solomon's prayer po. Kasi meron pong declaration si Solomon doon, tinayo yung temple that people who have lost their ways will yung mag-pray sa direction ng temple so that they could nasa clues po atin. Teka po yan, sorry. Nandito po yan sa...
Kasi sa panahon natin ngayon, makakapag-pray naman tayo kahit nakasara.
That's
Parang
correct.
walang gulo.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yun lang yung lesson sa ating binigay. Yun nga, tama nga yung inaano. Kasi nga kung saan nakaharap yung temple, yung Jerusalem, maaaring binuksan niya dito.
Kaya
Pero ang hirap i-reconcile yun kasi according to Matthew 6, ang sabi, ang direction ni Jesus Christ, when you pray, go into your room and close the door. How can you reconcile the prayer taught by Jesus Christ to go into your room and pray in your closet, sarado? And then, how can you reconcile ngayon si Daniel, nag-pray siya, nakabukas ang bintana, nakikita ng lahat? Is there a contradiction? Is the Bible teaching two lessons here? Hindi po, kasi merong iba intention ni Daniel, kaya siya nagbukas naman, hindi para ipakita. Pag malaki lang na nagdadasal siya, there is a purpose or there is an intention. He was facing something that his prayers were due to something na na-establish na rin ng ating mga prophets and all. But yes, Alma, the best way talaga is to pray in our room. We're not saying po na hindi na tayo magpipray sa labas kasi ginagawa natin, nagpipray tayo, nag-worship sa gitna ng park, sa gitna ng in public, pwede natin gawin yun. So, these two things can be done at the same time as long as the intention of the heart. When you can pray that publicly in front of people, even in front of cameras, live streaming. But it's God who's looking at the intention of the heart. I think yung ano po ni Jesus Christ, ang intention niya when he said that in Matthew 6, when you pray, when you fast, sabi, huwag mo ipagmalaki, don't tell anyone, is to teach us the lesson on hypocrisy. Parang address lamang po yung hypocrisy na ang tao ay nagdadasal at nagpa-fast para ipakita lamang sa tao. But Jesus Christ did not say, it's wrong to pray on the mountains, wrong to pray on the street, wrong to pray in public. Ano pa, ano? Romeo?
Ito po, nasa 1 Kings 8, verse 29 to 30. Sabi po dito is, may your eyes be open toward this temple night and day, this place of which you said, my name shall be there, so that you will hear the prayer your servant prays toward this place. Hear the supplication of your servant and of your people Israel, when they pray toward this place. Hear from heaven, your dwelling place, and when you hear, forgive. That's yun po yung parang sinasabi ng Solomon that when the chosen people have lost their ways, they may find that time or comfort or initiative to pray toward the place sa temple na yun.
Yeah.
So, most likely, si Daniel, naalala po niya itong declaration ni Solomon. That's why he's still praying towards sa temple of Jerusalem. Kahit destroyed na po siya at that point.
So, no compromise, even if the enemy will use our spirituality, our devotion to God, our relationship with Jesus Christ, the enemy can use that against us. But alam natin na tama yun, totoo yun, it's biblical, then let's continue doing that. Like ginawa ni Daniel, ginamit ang kanyang prayer life against him, which hindi naman siya nagbago. Hindi siya nag-compromise, hindi niya binago. Hindi siya nagtago, hindi niya sinara ang bintana. Dahil yun ang nakagawian niya, yun ang nabasa niya, yun ang nasa kanya, ang conviction niya ay gawin yun towards looking at the place with open window. So don't let the enemy change your spirituality, your relationship with God, simply para hindi ka na ma-in trouble, para hindi ka na magkaroon ng problema. Is we always stand on ang ating ground and stand for our faith. Okay, meron pa po kayo question? Bago tayo, aawit ba tayo ulit? Meron po kayong question. Ako po, na malinaw po sa inyo ang chapter 6. Meron po kayo, leave your comments and then we can try to answer that. But let's not compromise po. Let's not compromise. Let's keep our prayer life alive and active po, no matter what. Thank you po. So before we close, let's sing a song if you're planning to sing a song. Wala. Wala si Julie pa. Tingin na. Thank you, Lord. Malalaman namin ngayon na napakarami palang, Lord, na lessons na ipinahiwatig si Daniel sa kanya pong buhay na talagang matatag, firm and steadfast toward you, no compromising at all, not even a hint, not even a portion. May we live the life, the prayerful life with Daniel na magaya namin, we can emulate, Lord, na kahit ano ang mangyari, Lord, hindi kami hihinto ng panalangin sa iyo. At Lord, if there is a conflict, whether we obey your law or the law of man, it's